Ever wondered how a tiny ant's actions can ripple through an entire forest ecosystem? It's a fascinating thought, isn't it? But it's not just a thought, it's the reality of our world. You see, all living organisms, no matter how big or small, are part of a complex, interconnected system we call an ecosystem. An ecosystem is like an intricate web, where each thread relies on the others for stability. Every single species, from the colossal blue whale to the minuscule ant, has a role to play in maintaining this delicate balance. Take the ant, for instance. Its industrious digging aerates the soil, allowing water and nutrients to reach plant roots. This seemingly insignificant action contributes to the growth of plants, which in turn provide food and shelter for a myriad of creatures. So you see, even the smallest actions can have far-reaching effects in the grand scheme of nature. Now that we've set the stage, let's dive deeper into the dynamics of ecosystems. In the theater of nature, every species has a role to play. On this grand stage, three key players are at the heart of the action: producers, consumers, and decomposers. Each one has a part to play in the cycle of life, contributing to the energy flow and nutrient cycling that keeps our world turning. Let's start with the producers. These are predominantly plants, the green maestros of the natural world. Using sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide, they perform a miraculous act of alchemy known as photosynthesis, converting these raw materials into glucose, a type of sugar that provides energy. But that's not all. In this process, they release oxygen, the very breath of life for many creatures, including us. Next up, we have the consumers. This group includes all animals, from the smallest insect to the largest whale. Consumers can't produce their own food like plants do. Instead, they rely on eating other organisms for energy. Herbivores dine on plants, carnivores feast on other animals, and omnivores, well, they're not fussy eaters. They'll happily chow down on both plants and animals. Each bite transfers energy from one creature to another, forming an intricate food web. Last, but certainly not least, are the unsung heroes of the ecosystem, decomposers. Mostly fungi and bacteria, these microscopic marvels break down dead plants and animals, transforming them into nutrient-rich soil. This decomposition process returns vital nutrients back into the earth, making them available for plants to use in their next round of photosynthesis. So, there you have it. Producers create energy, consumers transfer it, and decomposers recycle it. This is the circle of life in action, a complex web of interconnections and interdependencies. Every species, no matter how big or small, has a crucial role to play in this grand performance. Understanding these roles is key to appreciating the delicate balance of nature. For in this intricate dance of life, every step matters, every movement counts. It's a perpetual ballet, a symphony of survival, and it's happening all around us every second of every day. In nature, "Scratch my back and I'll scratch yours" takes on a whole new meaning. Here, we delve into the fascinating world of mutualism, a symbiotic association where both parties reap benefits. Picture this: a humble bee buzzing around a vibrant flower. The bee sips on the sweet nectar, its reward for a hard day's work. But wait, there's more to this story. As the bee flits from flower to flower, it unwittingly plays courier, carrying pollen on its furry body. This pollen transfer, known as pollination, is vital for the flower's reproduction. So while the bee gets its fill of nectar, the flower gets a helping hand in spreading its genes. It's a perfect example of a win-win situation. From the tiniest insects to the largest mammals, mutualistic relationships are everywhere in nature. Such mutualistic relationships are the threads that weave the fabric of life. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there in the wild. This phrase may be a metaphor in our human society, but in nature, it's a literal truth. Predation, the act of one organism hunting down and consuming another, is a fundamental part of life in the wilderness. It's not just about the survival of the fittest, but also about the survival of the smartest, the quickest, the most adaptable. Take the cheetah and the gazelle, for instance. The cheetah, the fastest land animal, and the gazelle, a creature of grace and agility. Their lives are intertwined in a dance of life and death. The cheetah's survival depends on its ability to catch the gazelle, while the gazelle's life hangs on its ability to evade the cheetah. It's a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, where the prize is life itself. But predation is just half the story. There's also competition, another key player in the struggle for survival. Animals of the same or different species vie for the same resources: food, water, shelter, mates. the majestic lions fighting for control over a pride, the squirrels scrambling for the same acorn, the birds singing at dawn to claim their territory, all are examples of competition in action. And it's not just about who wins the battle, but also who can stay in the game. The more resources an individual can secure, the better its chances of survival and reproduction, passing on its successful traits to the next generation. This is evolution in action, driven by the twin forces of predation and competition. These interactions, as fierce and brutal as they may seem, shape the population sizes and the structure of ecosystems. They maintain the balance of nature, ensuring that no single species grows too dominant or too weak. They drive diversity, pushing species to adapt, to evolve, to find their niche in the complex tapestry of life. It's a tough world out there, but every struggle contributes to the balance of the ecosystem. The struggle for survival may be harsh, but it's also beautiful. It's the heartbeat of the wild, the song of life itself. It's a testament to the resilience of nature, to the indomitable spirit of life that persists, endures, and thrives in the face of adversity. What happens when a cog in the wheel of life goes missing or gets replaced? This is a question that often stirs around in the minds of those who marvel at the complexity of Earth's ecosystems. Imagine for a moment a thriving forest. The trees are home to countless species, each playing a critical role in the ecosystem. Now let's say a new species is introduced into this forest, an invasive species not native to this environment. Suddenly, the equilibrium is disrupted. This newcomer may outcompete local species for food or habitat, or worse, it may have no natural predators, allowing its population to explode unchecked. A real-world example of this is the introduction of the brown tree snake in Guam. These snakes, brought unintentionally by humans, wreaked havoc on the local bird population, which had no defense against this new predator. The loss of these birds, in turn, impacted the ecosystem as a whole, as these birds were key pollinators of the island's plants. On the other hand, consider what happens when a species goes extinct. Keystone species, those species that have a disproportionately large effect on their environments, are particularly critical. Their loss can trigger a cascade of changes that ripple through the ecosystem. Take the sea otters along the Pacific coast of North America, for instance. These otters are voracious predators of sea urchins. Without otters to keep their numbers in check, sea urchin populations can explode, leading to the decimation of kelp forests, which are vital habitats for a multitude of marine species. These examples serve as grim reminders of how disruptions to the natural order can have far-reaching impacts. It's a delicate dance, this circle of life, one that requires all its participants to maintain the balance. Alter one element, and the entire system can teeter on the edge of collapse. We are all part of this intricate web of life, with our actions having the potential to either maintain or disrupt this delicate equilibrium. As we can see, disruptions can have far-reaching consequences on the delicate balance of nature. So, where do we fit into this intricate web of life? As humans, we are an integral part of the ecosystem, but our actions often have far-reaching effects. Our cities sprawl, our factories belch smoke, and our cars guzzle gas. These actions, while part of our everyday lives, can drastically alter the natural world around us. Consider habitat destruction. As we clear forests for timber or agriculture, we're not just removing trees, we're disrupting a complex network of life. These habitats are not just homes for countless species, but they also perform vital functions such as carbon sequestration and water purification. Then there's pollution. The plastics we discard can end up in the ocean, choking marine life and disrupting the food chain. The chemicals we release into our air and water don't just vanish, they can accumulate in plants and animals, often with deadly consequences. And of course, there's climate change. As we burn fossil fuels, we're releasing vast amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, trapping heat and destabilizing our planet's climate. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a threat to the very existence of many species, including our own. But here's the thing, we're not just the cause of these problems, we can be the solution too. By adopting sustainable practices, by reducing, reusing, and recycling, by protecting natural habitats and promoting biodiversity, we can help to restore the balance of nature. We can plant trees, clean up our waterways, and switch to renewable energy sources. We can support policies that protect the environment and hold polluters accountable. And most importantly, we can educate ourselves and others about the importance of biodiversity and the value of our natural world. Remember, we're not just spectators in this theater of life, we're players too. Let's play our roles wisely.